What if everything you learned about the man who discovered America was engineered to make you feel proud, instead of confronting the documented human cost? Imagine standing on a Caribbean beach in October 1492. 3 small ships drop anchor. A Genoese captain steps ashore, plants the royal standard of Spain, and claims the land for distant monarchs. Schoolbooks called this the dawn of the modern world. But primary records, Columbus's own journal summaries and eyewitness accounts, tell a different story. One of ambition, miscalculation, and the beginning of unimaginable suffering for millions already living there. This isn't speculation. It's drawn from Columbus's logs, preserved via Bartolomé de las Casas, Spanish royal documents, and archaeological evidence. Today we confront what textbooks often simplified. Columbus did not discover an empty continent. He did not prove the earth was round, and his voyages opened the door to exploitation documented by contemporaries. If you were taught the heroic solo to voyage tale, stay with me. The full, verified history hits harder, and it might change how you see the world. Hit like if you're ready for the truth they glossed over, and subscribe for more fact-driven stories that honor the real human weight of history. Let's begin. By the late 15th century, Europe was emerging from the Middle Ages. Spain had just completed the Reconquista, expelling the Moors from Granada in January 1492. Ferdinand and Isabella sought new trade routes to Asia's spices and gold, bypassing Ottoman-controlled paths. Christopher Columbus, born in Genoa around 1451, was a skilled navigator and mapmaker who had sailed the Mediterranean and Atlantic coasts. He pitched a westward route to the Indies, underestimating the Earth's circumference based on flawed calculations. Educated Europeans already knew the world was round. Aristotle, Ptolemy, and medieval scholars confirmed it. Columbus's proposal was controversial because of distance, not shape. On August 3, 1492, he departed Palos de la Frontera with the Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria, about 90 men total. After a stop in the Canaries, they sailed west. On the 12th of October, they sighted land, an island in the Bahamas, which Columbus named San Salvador. He believed he had reached the outskirts of Asia. The anchoring detail here is the royal standard he planted, a simple flag of Castile and Leon. At first, it symbolized hope for trade and faith. Its meaning would shift dramatically as weeks turned to years. The hidden truth is that the Americas were home to tens of millions of people with advanced societies long before 1492. Indigenous nations across the continents had complex trade networks, agriculture, including maize, potatoes, tomatoes, cities, and governance. Estimates for the pre-contact population of the Americas vary, but scholars cite figures in the tens of millions, with Hispaniola alone supporting hundreds of thousands. Columbus's journal, as summarized by Las Casas, records his immediate observations. The people were guileless and honest, generous, without iron weapons, and timid. He wrote they could be easily converted and made to serve. In his 1493 letter to Louis de Santangel, he noted they were destitute of arms and that the land might easily be conquered. This was no empty discovery. It was sustained contact between two worlds, with consequences recorded in real time. Vikings had reached North America around 1021 CE at L'Anse aux Meadows in Newfoundland, confirmed by archaeology and tree ring dating tied to a solar event in 993 CE. But Columbus's voyages, backed by the Spanish crown, led to permanent European colonization. The flag's second meaning emerges, not just arrival, but possession. Before Columbus, the Taino people of the Caribbean lived in villages with thatched houses, cultivated cassava and other crops, fished, and maintained social structures with caciques, chiefs. They traded with other islands. Their world was vibrant, not primitive. In Europe, the drive for wealth and souls fueled exploration. Columbus carried a prophetic sense of destiny. He wrote in his Journal of Hopes to spread Christianity and bring riches to the sovereigns who had funded him after rejecting his plan multiple times. The Taino initially welcomed the strangers, offering food and gifts, as documented in Columbus's accounts, but tensions rose quickly over demands for gold and labor. The world before was one of separate development. The turning point forced collision. By his second voyage in 1493, with 17 ships and over 1,000 men, Columbus established settlements, encomiendas, systems granting Spaniards control over indigenous labor, emerged. Resistance met with violence. Bartolomé de las Casas, who arrived in 1502 and initially participated before becoming a critic, documented atrocities in a brief account of the destruction of the Indies, 1552. He described Spaniards behaving like ravening wild beasts, killing, torturing, and enslaving. On Hispaniola, population plummeted from hundreds of thousands to a remnant due to war, disease, to which indigenous people had no immunity, overwork, and cruelty. Las Casas estimated millions across the Indies affected in the early decades. The flag now meant domination. Mid-roll CTA. If this challenges what you learned, subscribe and comment Truth Matters below. We read every one, and it helps more people see these verified stories. Controversy surrounded Columbus, even in his time. He was arrested and returned to Spain in chains after his third voyage due to mismanagement complaints. Las Casas and others criticized the brutality, leading to the 1542 new laws attempting reforms. Yet school curricula long emphasized the discoverer narrative, influenced by 19th-century Italian-American advocacy for Columbus Day and patriotic storytelling. Overshadowing came from focus on European progress, while minimizing indigenous perspectives and suffering, documented in primary sources but often sidelined. Modern scholarship, drawing on archaeology, genetics, and contemporary accounts, fills the gaps. Doubt persists in public memory versus academic consensus on the scale of demographic collapse and exploitation. Returning to the flag, planted with ceremony on San Salvador, it symbolized the impossible, crossing the Atlantic with square-rigged ships, dead reckoning navigation, and a crew on the edge of mutiny. Columbus's determination held the expedition together, but the human core was in the encounters. In one documented moment of unexpected humanity, Columbus's journal notes the generosity of the Taino, who shared what little they had despite fear. Las Casas later recounted how some Spaniards, amid the horror, showed fleeting mercy or horror at the excesses, reminders that individuals existed within systems of duty, greed, and survival. The voyages succeeded in establishing roots and claims, verified by logs, letters, and archaeology. Yet the cost was catastrophic. Disease, violence, and disruption led to massive population declines. Las Casas witnessed and reported specific cruelties: people hunted with dogs, families torn apart, forced labor in gold mines. These are not modern inventions, but primary source accounts. Columbus himself wrote of his role with conviction. A prophetic line from his writings reflects the era's drive. He saw himself fulfilling a divine mission to spread faith and secure wealth for Spain, as expressed in his prologue and letters seeking royal support. The flag's final meaning, a marker of irreversible change, for better in global connection, for worse in documented suffering. This wasn't clean heroism or pure villainy. It was complex human history, grounded in records. In the decades following, Spanish colonies expanded, diseases spread across continents, and the Columbian Exchange transformed global agriculture, economies, and populations, introducing new crops to Europe and Old World animals' diseases and systems to the Americas. Columbus died in 1506, largely disgraced in his later years. His voyages reshaped the world, but legacy debates continue, with some places replacing Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day. The verified record shows both navigational achievement and the human toll detailed by contemporaries like Las Casas. What does it mean to teach history honestly? To honor courage where it existed while confronting documented costs. The flag on that beach reminds us, discovery for one people meant upheaval for others already there. If this video made you rethink a single lesson from school, comment with the most surprising verified fact you learned here. What other facts do you question now? Subscribe for more deep dives into real history, and share this with someone who needs the full story. Truth builds better understanding. Thanks for watching. Your time and attention mean everything.